Hello and welcome to The Story and the Song. My name is Adri Love. I'm a singer-songwriter from the west coast of BC, Canada, otherwise known as Turtle Island. I'm going to be your host. Welcome, welcome. If it's your first time here, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. This channel is for people in the music industry, people who love music, people who want to hear the stories of their favorite artists. This is what this channel is for. So if that is something you want to be a part of and be included in, please make sure to follow us on our socials. We have pages on Instagram and TikTok. So please follow along and reach out. Send me a message if you really enjoyed an episode or if you'd like to be on the show. I'm very open. So just head on over. Um, so this is the last episode of 2025. I am wrapping up this season. It's been so much fun. I have been so deeply impacted by all of the guests that I've had on the show. They have all taught me something, inspired me, um, showed me a different way of looking at things. Honestly, it's just been exceeded my expectations starting this podcast. And I'm just super grateful for all the guests and the artists and producers and everyone that's been on the show for sharing their stories, being vulnerable, and opening themselves up to us. And so I just want to say a really deep, heartfelt thank you to everybody who's been on the show and everyone who has supported us so far. Thank you so much. But we are going to start a new season in January. So the first Friday of January, I will be dropping a new episode. So it is not over. We're just going to start fresh in the new year. And I'm so excited for you guys to hear those stories as well. So we have on episode 12, wrapping up our 2025 year, Stephanie Pockets Regno. She is an audio engineer, mixer, producer, amazing, wonderful human being that I feel so honored to have met and connected with. There were so many on and off screen moments in this conversation that will stay with me forever. And I'm just so grateful for Stephanie opening her heart to me on a personal level, but also to all of you. She shares parts of her story of how she got her start as an engineer and a producer, starting off at school and then slowly working her way up to having her own studio, which she is now based in East Vancouver here in Canada. And then also how she has begun at the beginning of this year, transition into being a trans woman. And so we get into a little bit about that. This is her first on-screen appearance as Stephanie. So I just feel so honored to be part of that moment, and will forever cherish this interview in so many ways. So I think you guys are going to really like it. Make sure to stay tuned in till the end, and I'll see you in 2026. Okay. Hi. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
You're so welcome.
And welcoming me into your studio.
Thank you.
Welcome. Vibe Cave.
Yeah, welcome to Vibe Cave
Studios.
Yeah, that's it.
Amazing. So how have you been? How have things been for you recently? Like, what projects are you working right now that are exciting you?
Things have been super active in the last couple of months. The big record I've been working on right now is a band called Calico, who have been fantastic. I have a song with an artist named Taze Kozak I'm doing. Who's from the island, kind of more like Campbell River, I think. Courtney.
Hmm.
Sorry, buddy, if that's not right.
Yeah.
Um, Another artist named Kaya Ko, phenomenal Filipino singer songwriter, rapper,
Right.
incredible person.
Yes.
Yeah, another an orchestral track with an artist named Fiddledo, like a whole bunch of different things depending on kind of what we're looking at. But
Right.
stuff's been great. And then Breakout West as well. Recently, just got back from that in Winnipeg.
Yep.
Had a phenomenal time, quite frankly.
Yes.
So, but yeah, things have been busy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in this studio?
This Vibe Cave I've been in for 10 years now in one point or another. Yeah, I know it's weird
That's
to think
crazy.
about being in this room for that long. I started with a good buddy of mine, Rob Sommerfeld, who is sharing this space, and my other studio partner, Matt Roach, who we are hearing working above us.
Okay.
And I was able to take over this room with Rob, and then kind of just like got busier and busier over time, and got to the point where I kind of had to take it over more for myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been in here more or less like that now for quite a few years, just making records and mixing, doing sync stuff, and doing some film composition as well. Scored a full length film in here uh,
That's
last year.
amazing.
Yeah, it was wild. But yeah, so it's been 10 years of just like doing music and creating.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Well, I mean, you've really like made a name for yourself. You've got
thanks.
some nominations for the Western Canada Awards with some of the artists you've worked with, like Asaya and
Yeah,
Missy D.
those were was very very proud of them.
Yeah.
Those two women worked their asses off to make that happen, and I was really
Yeah.
privileged to be a part of those records in the way I was.
I'm very like envious and jealous that you got to like work with those women as well. Like Asaya, I'm a huge fan of.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
And
you can come hang out in the studio when we're working together
oh
next
my
time.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
come
would
hang
be
out, come
amazing.
chill. Yeah.
I already had like a fangirl moment with her at a So Far show.
Oh
Because I had
man,
actually heard her song on the radio. And I was like, "Who is this?" And then they said it
which
was
one?
the Soul in
Oh,
Me.
great tune.
Yeah,
Yeah, Soul
and
and Me is so good.
I was like, Vancouver. I'm like, I'm here in Vancouver. How have I never heard
That's
of them
my
before?
city.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, so, and then we managed to have a So Far show together. So when I saw her, I was just like, oh my God. I was like,
Ah,
I'm
yay.
obsessed with you.
I love that.
Yeah, amazing.
So cool.
Um, so and then also Tissa Rahim,
Yeah.
she won. Did she win that? It was an R&B award.
Yeah, that
She,
was
it
the
wasn't just a
that
nomination,
no,
right?
that was the Calgary Music Awards.
Yes.
And that was 2023, or I think we got it 2024. It was R&B Soul of the Year. So that one
Yeah.
was cool. It was a really good
Yeah.
win. The nominations were incredible with Asaya and Missy D, and I wish we could have gotten it, but the records that won are so, can I swear?
Yeah.
They're so fucking
Yeah.
good. Like especially the Francophone record,
Okay.
the one that won Francophone of the Year. It's a band called Pontiac's.
Okay.
Album is amazing. I'll put
Okay.
that on front to back. I don't know what he's singing about a lot
Yeah.
of the time,
Yeah.
but it is phenomenal. The emotional translations there, the productions are cool. Like
Okay.
I heard that record and I went, yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
We did a great job.
But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go to the like award show with them?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
in Winnipeg because the way that's broken up is like there's the awards and like conference stuff,
Hmm.
which any artist that hasn't thought about going to Breakout West before, you should be going because it's like a major career move. It does wonders for the amount of education. Next year's in Victoria, so this one was in Winnipeg, and with the nominations and stuff, I definitely wanted to go out, and then I was on as a panelist as well. They had me speaking one of the panels on bridges between languages because
Okay.
I'm a monolingual producer, but I work with multilingual artists quite a bit. So I do a lot of like Spanish, Portuguese, Tagalog, French, like,
Okay.
and I don't really speak those languages, and I need to still be able to like make records with them, comp vocals, figure out how we're singing
Oh, okay.
on stuff. Yeah, I was just working with a Spanish singer yesterday, So all
Right.
the lyrics were in Spanish, and I was trying to get her to like translate stuff and things for me, and like figure out what, not only what the like the words are meaning, but like what the emotional intent is and what we're trying to
Yes.
achieve. Because then I
Yes.
can help work with,
Yeah.
the singer to what our end goal is, or it lets me know what our end goal is potentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, that gets kind of busy. But anyways, I talked on a panel there, and it
N-
was great, and it was wonderful to chat with some folks and
That's amazing.
talk about just little tricks and things and how I operate, and
Yeah.
trying to bridge that gap.
Well, and it sounds like you're very willing to like give your time and your energy and you share your knowledge with everybody. Like that's just something that you like to do.
Yeah,
Like,
it's fun. I like education,
yeah.
especially music education stuff. I'm really against gatekeeping in this
Yeah.
industry, in any
Right.
industry.
Yeah.
And I really don't think there's anything we're doing that is like inherently like a secret or a trick that nobody else knows.
Yeah.
And I just kind of get annoyed when somebody's like, oh, you don't get to know yet, or
Yeah.
something along those lines. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to like share knowledge where I can.
I love that.
I'm often more surprised, like, oh, you don't know about this? Oh, holy fuck. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I've got 20 minutes. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's teach you
Yeah.
about grants. Like,
That's awesome you're doing that. And I did notice that on your website that you have, you have a resources tab, which is, that's phenomenal. That's so helpful. And also like you have this checklist and I clicked on it and as an artist, I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm like, I need this checklist for future reference. Like,
and
so, and not everyone is willing to like do that. So like, I just wanted to highlight that that's
well,
awesome.
thank
You're like
you.
contributing and giving back to the community in that way. Cause I think,
I should repost that. I think it's time for like another posting of that. Yep.
yes, yeah, absolutely. Do it. Because yeah, I think that there is some gatekeeping sometimes with knowledge and sharing. So super thankful that you're doing that.
You're so welcome. If I may though, that came about as less of I really need to give back and more of I can't keep explaining this
Okay.
over and over again. I wish I could say
Yeah,
this was pure altruism, but it came about as needing to be a time saver for
okay.
myself, because I was like, I got to make a checklist of this. It's I know that I've got, if people can just have follow a checklist like they're making a recipe,
Yeah,
they can do it. And it's
yeah,
the fact that they don't know which part of the recipe comes in at what point. So here's like a rough order of things. And please don't make me have to have
yeah.
another Facebook message conversation with you at 11 p.m. about it again.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny because I like looked at the list and I'm like, I wonder if like this is just because she kept having to repeat herself.
It's
Like,
100% that. I wish I could say even like chat GPT'd it. No, I sat there outside smoking a joint, going through each step that I know someone's going to need to know, and trying to just make a little short form point about it. Because if it's
Yeah.
anything more than like 2 or 3 sentences, the attention's gone.
So then next question is, do you feel like there's a lack of information sharing in general in the music industry that it kind of has fallen upon an engineer producer's shoulders to share that knowledge? Like, do you think that there
Uh,
needs to be more of a hub of information out there for artists? Like,
hub,
you know,
yeah, kind
like
of.
is there like I don't know, maybe there is and I just don't know about
Hubs
it, but
hubs are just kind of inherently tricky. So I want to find the right words on this, because I've seen different communities pop up over the years, and I've been a part of some that have been phenomenal. If we're talking online, a group called Make Pop Music used to be like a big research for me on Facebook, and still is, with the people that are creating great stuff. But there's hubs. The hubs are always going to be just like a certain group of people within a certain sphere. So the knowledge is going to be a little bit more inherently contained. So you have to make, I guess, like center points for people within not just music, but like Canadian music, but then Western stuff, like how things work in BC, and Western Canada is different than East Coast. So even like, hey, if
right.
I've got touring advice for like East Coast musicians, it doesn't really apply to the way the West Coast halls work. And even at
Right.
Breakout West, there are some moments where there's some people with a lot of knowledge talking about a certain kind of touring, but it doesn't really fly in with a lot of like how BC sort of is. Like
Right.
it just doesn't quite translate. So yes, there needs
Right.
to be more knowledge, but there's always kind of like this weird if and then with some of the
Yes.
information. if you fall within this kind of artist and this kind of thing, then this information is going to work.
Right.
So I feel like the best resources have been the collections of like links and things from like Creative BC, Music BC.
Right.
I think SOCAN Foundation has been good.
Yeah.
And those will often be spots for like a lot of knowledge driven. So Music BC, oh, I think it's Music BC. They do a lot of like one-on-one info sessions, or Creative BC. I'm sorry,
Right.
both of you. You're both amazing. I'm just forgetting.
Yeah.
Um, please don't hate me.
And like mentor, they do
Yeah,
mentorship. Is that
yeah,
kind of where
there's
you're?
tons of mentorship.
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
they have newsletters that are like packed to the brim with like new things that are coming out, and info
Right.
sessions, and they're collecting things for people. So
Right.
it's like, yeah, I guess we can have some hubs. Those are the main two. I
Yeah.
just find that it's hard online stuff, because it's like sometimes it just won't work for you. There's tips and
Right.
tricks on doing, Pro Tools and FL Studio and Ableton things for record creation, but then if you're not like a touring artist, a lot of the recommendations for somebody where it's like, well, how do I further my career? It's like, well, you're not touring. That
Hmm.
means you have a whole different like playing field of things that you want to potentially look at for like online presence and stuff. It just sort of like
Hmm.
spirals off. So the
Right.
the hubs are hard. It's like finding communities that you can like funnel to is almost a little more difficult these days, because we have so much information. It's
Yeah.
like, how do we make sure that it's applicable to us in that? Like, how do we pick it apart? And that's a little bit harder for newer people that don't like know their direction yet, or kind of what their
Right.
goal is career wise, or even just
Right.
creation wise.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if that question ended up being little long
No.
winded.
No.
It's
No.
just like
It's very
the
informative, and it's
hubs. Yeah,
very valid. What everything you're saying, I think
thank
it's
you.
yeah.
The hubs are there. It's just gets a little bit harder sometimes to distill what you need from them based on like what your goals are, and just be acknowledge that where the other person who's giving you this information is coming from,
Yeah.
and then go, cool, these are the similarities. This might work, this might not. Try it, see. Hopefully you can try it without dumping a ton of money into something.
Yeah.
Same goes
Yeah.
for like hiring a producer. You might not need one at all. Maybe you just need a
Right.
really good mixing engineer and someone that gives a crap you know
Right.
so
Yeah. I mean, it's like the artist journey. There's just so much to figure out along the way. And then you're still figuring out like your sound and what you want to do and how you want to
yeah,
define success. And like, are you talking to the right people?
sure,
And, yeah, I feel like it's a constant evolution. At least I feel like I've found that, in the various projects I've involved myself in, or just navigating the industry as an artist. So,
cool.
yeah. Um, but tell us about you've worked with some artists outside of BC. Like I mean, you've
Hmm.
worked with like you mentioned Calico, Missy D, and Tissa and Isaiah,
Yeah, they're
um,
lovely.
and Francis Aravello.
Arevalo, yeah.
Arevalo.
Francis is a long time friend and collaborator.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I love his work. But you've also like done some pretty big names. Like
I've had
what
some new
was
stuff lately that's been like definitely a bit
like
of a higher, different kind of caliber, I guess. Or not
like
caliber, but
West Side Bouge? Is that how you say his name?
West Side Boogie.
Boogie.
Oh
Yeah, West
yeah,
Side Boogie.
mixing the West Side Boogie track was really fun, because that's like a artist named Petty Boy Osley that I've known out here, and this is like the long term. People have asked me like, "Oh my god, how did you mix a West Side Boogie track?" Because like my students at SAE know this guy, and it's fucking
Right.
awesome,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, I worked at Log McQuaid. I knew this kid that was coming in forever, like asking me way too many questions about audio equipment. That was like Justin Petty Boy Osley. We were
Okay.
just homies. He got good. I got good. We linked back up last year, started
Yeah.
doing a bunch of mixing together. He's like, hey, I've got this joint with like this massive rapper and like myself on it. I'm like, yeah, I can mix it. I'll make it sound great. And I did. And it's been, I think it did decent numbers, at least on the first push. And, uh, has been really fun to be able to just say I've done. And I've got a couple other like fairly large names coming with Petty Boy for mixing that I don't think I'm actually allowed to say yet. I
Oh
really
my
can't.
gosh.
When's this dropping?
Yeah.
When's this video
In
coming out?
November probably, or even like the new year.
Okay, I can't tell you. Maybe we'll
maybe.
do an edit
Yeah.
at the end.
Okay.
I'll whisper
I
it
can
really
always
quiet at the end, and if the track's out, then you can add it to the end of the thing. Okay, but
Well,
yeah,
that's exciting. Like, congrats. Like, good for
it's fun.
you.
Thank
Like,
you.
I looked up West Side Boogie and I was like, oh my God, like he's been on Tiny Desk and like
Oh
he's
yeah,
like got hundreds of thousands of followers. Like, that's amazing that you were able
he's great.
to get on that,
I
you know?
I
Like,
didn't talk to him at all. That was the fun thing. It was just like it was Petty that reached out to me. It was like, I think you can make this sound like fucking dope. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I can. But
yeah,
already, because you've done such a good job on the production and everything else, so it was just like taking it to the next level for him was,
right.
yeah, just a
Yeah.
couple little tweaks.
It's always comes down to like who you know, right? And like who you've like made a connection with, right? Like I
And
feel like
that's
that is
such a
the
long
center
time.
of the music industry, you know?
So much of that.
Yeah.
And you can be really, really good at what you do, but if people don't like hanging out with you, you are probably not going to go particularly far.
Yeah.
Or if your attitude needs an adjustment, you hopefully
Yeah.
figure it out pretty quick, or
Yeah.
else you know,
Yeah.
people are just not going to want to create with you.
For
That's sort
sure.
of the thing.
For sure. So let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
How did you get into all of this? Like what's your story with music and
Haphazardly. Haphazardly.
okay.
I was playing music when I was a teenager. I was a sax player originally, and I thought I wanted to be a geologist since I was like 6 or something. And I was in like first year of university, playing a bunch of music, listening to the Mother record, "Oh My Heart," over and over and over again in my car, like in a '91 Corolla, and
Nice.
yeah, going to university, hating it, and like I just like rocks and stuff. I want to do music, and I had a I found out about a school over here. I moved to Vancouver from Nanaimo, and I just kind of like threw myself into music because I didn't really know that I wanted to do record production the particular way. I just knew I wanted to do music, and then like the industry seemed like a great kind of thing. So I went to a school that doesn't exist anymore, and
For audio
audio
engineering?
production. Yeah,
Okay.
so a school called Nimbus.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like in 2010, like great for a lot of core engineering skills and stuff. And then I got a chance to got a great piece of advice from a good friend of mine named Nigel Aslan, who was like, you should just work for the person that makes all the records that you love. And that was like Tegan and Sarah and Mother and a couple of stuff. And that was this guy named Howard Redicop, who you should go interview. He lives
Okay.
in Nanaimo
Sweet.
now and is an amazing, amazing guy. And just like I got to learn a different kind of way of working with artists.
Okay.
So it was a different kind of production. And I went from wanting to work in like a big studio and be like working on things a little bit more intimately on like the project itself and the song, rather than, running all of the board and the nerd stuff. Just still fun. I love
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
Just like I wanted to work with artists a little bit more. Personally, I found that's where I was just a little bit better. And
Yeah.
then uh, yeah, Howard sort of showed me this other style of work, and I kind of like bounced around, trying to do records and figuring things out until about 2015, where my buddy Matt Roach, who we can hear upstairs occasionally,
Yeah.
is said, hey, there's like a couple of rooms here, do you want to get stuff together and try and have like a studio that's like not in your house, and like take a stab at like doing it full time and
Yeah.
or like professionally. Rather,
Mhm.
I was still working a full-time job, but I just said yeah, and I got the money together and made some promises of trying to keep stuff going, and I ended up just being able to, and then slowly worked off. And this is the thing that I've tried to tell a bunch of people. I didn't just quit my day job and then go into it. I found a music adjacent job, which was retail with Long McQuaid,
Right.
and I went from 5 days a week to 4 days a week to 3 days a week to 2 days, and I was just still like every day here, every evening here,
Yeah.
and like working and doing stuff and like refining and getting better. And then around like 2017, I think I had a chance to work with Kim Mortal, who I then had an opportunity to do on their first record, a couple of songs, and I got to produce like a track from the ground up, because I was recording bands mostly. I didn't sit and like make tracks like a beat producer. I had
Right.
to learn how to do it.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, we hired some
Wow.
like crazy good players. Like Marianne Chetta came in, also a phenomenal
Oh,
person,
yeah.
came in and did a bunch of keys, and I chopped those up and like built the song. And I learned, started how to do this other style of production, which
Right.
is wild to think it was just kind of back then. But it was like because it wasn't that long ago I wasn't doing the style of production. And
Right.
then now it's like forming tracks from the ground up with artists or hiring
Okay.
studios or musicians and stuff. And it's kind of bloomed and blossomed from an engineer to like producer, mixing engineer, and doing a lot of my work in this room because
Yeah.
of I love the intimate workflow,
Yeah.
and then going to big studios like Rain City Recorders or 604 Records, and tracking like drums and like full beds and bands and stuff there, and then
Okay.
bringing it back to here. So it's been kind of like this growth and refinement over time, because I didn't always know what I wanted to do. I barely knew that I wanted to do music.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in like 2018, I don't know what happened, I really just was like, the only thing I want to fucking do is make records. The only thing I really give a shit about is that. And I had some weird, not super healthy drive come from like
Okay.
self um like fuck you, I'll show you,
Oh,
but
okay.
towards myself.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
and I internalized that into a heavy amount of work through like 2018 to like
Okay.
2023, even through COVID and stuff. I was just like focused on being here because it was isolated and stuff.
Right.
And yeah, I just really wanted to be good at this job
Okay.
and do as much as I could and work with the artists that I really loved. And
It just sunk in.
yeah, it did. It wasn't the healthiest thing because it was like,
Right.
but I've now like worked through that, and it's coming from a much more balanced and healthy space.
Yes.
That's where it's like getting the social life back and other interests besides just being
Right.
here all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah,
Crazy.
it's been a balance and it's come around. I definitely swung to the far end of stuff, and
Yeah.
now like trying to keep like work going and everything healthy as a business, but then still trying to keep the rest of my,
Have a life.
yeah.
Yeah.
I lost
Yeah.
all of my, not lost, I spent a lot of my 20s in this room, and
Okay.
I like spending more of my 30s outside of it.
Yeah. Nice.
You know,
Nice. And it just sounds like you've been so open to just evolving and changing. Like whatever artist comes to you, you're just like, oh, okay, what do you want to do? Let me figure that out. Like you just have this really like
thank you.
adaptable skill. Like you're just very adaptable and open to like learn. Like you, maybe some people would see that as, like, oh, well, I don't do that, but you were just
Mm,
like, I'm gonna figure that out and I'm gonna learn it. And now you're like, you have like a skill set in it. So that's so awesome.
thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, scene.
No,
Damn. Shit. Okay.
that's really
Because yeah,
cool.
I like to say I don't work on everything. I bill myself as a slash producer. So if someone needs like a consummate rock engineer producer, I've got
Right.
friends that do that in spades, and that's like almost all they do. And
Right.
then if someone's like just pop, cool, I've got people that just do pop tracks.
Yeah.
But if it's like, hey, I do rock slash pop slash R&B, I'm like, oh, keep talking.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what else you do?
Okay.
What else you got? Some
Yeah.
folk in there too, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it gets me kind of stoked because there's a lot of cool crossover. So a lot of the stuff I've done over the years have like crossed over with other stuff. I did like a salsa dance hall record that gave me low end skills to work on some Suicide Boys type crazy shit
Yeah.
that led me to be able to do like better other stuff. So the skills kept kind of like leapfrogging, but it was always making sure that I could like actually help. I didn't want to take on something that was completely out of my range.
Okay.
So
You had like a moment with yourself where you're like, can I
well,
do this? Do I want to do it? Does this
yeah,
excite me kind of thing? Like,
yeah, all of that stuff. But like, I always approach every artist with like, okay, it's not here's what I do, it's how can I help. So
yes.
like, what do you need? Like, you
Yeah.
might not need this kind of full pull producer doing it from top to bottom production. You might not need the level of work I have engineering. Maybe you want to track everything at home and just send me stuff to check over.
Yeah.
That's been kind of the place as well. But it's been like, all right, well, how can I help you with this creative thing that you're trying to do? And sometimes that's recommending a different person
Right.
or realizing that we're not quite ready to work together yet. I've had as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine because
Mm-hmm.
we'll work with you later. So
Yeah. And do you feel like you kind of developed that method over like through trial and error kind of thing? Or and now you have a certain approach now, is what it sounds like. And so
yeah.
did that kind of evolve through like just figuring out what it is you really wanted to do, like what genres you wanted to work in, or how did that kind
Mm,
of like process evolve for you? Like did you always kind of know what styles of music and artists you want to work with?
that's
Or
like three questions in a
I know.
trench coat.
One at a
That one's not sneaking into the R-rated movies. Um, the I didn't always know what I wanted to do. I had genres that I was attracted to. I was always just kind of trying to work on music that I really loved. For a long time, I
Right.
worked on music that was very like Tom Waits acoustic, dark folk stuff with like a lot of stomps and that kind of
Yeah.
vibe, and a lot of punk, and then that led to like different things. But yeah, it's like I just didn't have the skill set in some of the genres, so I sort of had to like learn, and then I made something cool that ended up just sort of working.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
Trying to remember what the
Yeah.
question. I didn't always know. I have stuff that I really love, and sometimes I choose stuff out of spite. Like I'll show myself like I can do that. Like I bet I can do that genre you've never done
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
And a couple of times it's worked out really well. Like my first attempt at, I can't even remember what it was, but it just worked. It was like, yeah, this is perfect. Like cool, I've never made this before. Let's go.
Yeah.
Um
Okay. Interesting.
and every once in a while, but it's like based on a lot of research. A
Yeah.
lot of it is just like, okay, there's a band called Hot Stranger that I adore, that I've got a record. I got to show you that when we're done the interview really quick,
Please.
because it's not
Please.
out and it's just so special to me. But it's like the Hot Stranger stuff. Then I first started working with them, it was just a mix, and they're like, we're really Phoebe Bridgers based, and I'm like, I actually really don't know Phoebe's work.
Mm,
So I went and listened to a bunch of stuff, and then did like research and reading for old articles and stuff on her producer and her engineers, and like
mm.
who, and I'm like, then I learned new sides from the technical thing, like sure, an adjective, because we love adjectives in this industry, was swirl,
Oh,
not smear, not width or anything. It was swirl is the
okay.
term. And there's a few records that the guy worked with around Phoebe that all have this kind of swirl sound. I was like, oh, okay, so like now I can kind of figure out what goes into creating that,
Right.
along with like making sure the song sounds great and is like
Right.
a good tune,
Yeah.
working arrangement and stuff like that. So it was like I love doing the research on stuff, but I have to
Yeah.
make sure that I can like it is at least a little in my wheelhouse. Like I do a lot of
For sure.
R&B, soul, and then the stuff that's attached to that, which includes like hip hop and then like Latin influence stuff, and then I do a lot of things in like the rock sphere, which includes like indie and folk and singer songwriter stuff as well off of it. Quite so that's sort of like the ranges that I live in, and then I do a swath of electronic stuff that it's been
Yeah.
really fun just for shits
Nice.
and grins.
What kind of electronic?
I did like some future based stuff for a while with an artist named Extra Deluxe,
Okay.
which was fun because I have another friend that uses all of the music for his like YouTube channel. So he just like uses
Okay.
our music exclusively for years for opening Pokemon cards too.
Okay.
Shout out Totodile Tales. But yeah, it's there's like that, and then I've got a couple of buddies that I've been dabbling a lot in Liquid D&B and like uh like oh my god, like hyperpop, I would say everything hyperpop adjacent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've
which
never
goes
heard of that.
crazy.
Hyperpop.
You're gonna,
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna show
Please
you some
show
stuff.
me.
Yeah.
When uh before you went to school, did you have a recording set up in your house at all? Like
I
you just
No,
okay.
no, I
So
had
the
recorded
school
like
was the
twice.
first experience you had with engineering.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Okay.
it was a school, and that gave me a lot of like cool information, like great way to start. I was really nervous. That's where the pockets nickname came in, because I was just like had my hands in my pockets in front of the console and stuff all the time. And I've just been
Okay.
like leaning over things and like unsure because I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. And it like slowly came together in bits and pieces and like so much trial and error over time. I'm
Yeah.
astounded I still do I do this job based on thinking about how I was in 2010. I'm like, how the fuck? Wow, I figured something out. But yeah, it was the like core engineering, and then there's like different teachers and stuff there that I like you learn more from, and they give you other opportunities. Like if you do the work, more will kind of come just
Yeah.
from like kicking butt and doing stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, at one point okay, I love all these little stories because they're like, well, how do you do a thing? It's like, well, I had my first like trial by fire was being in the school, and one of the students abandoned this record. It was a punk band. Punk band was full of like artists from like Econoline Crush and KMFDM and like all of these crazy Vancouver bands that were like amazing. The players were great. The record was mostly done. It needed some guitars recorded and it needed to be mixed and mastered. And the band was going to go on tour into Japan in like 2.5, 3 weeks. So all of the music had to get to the CD printer in time. in like 4 or 5 days in advance to be able to get all of their stuff printed to sell merch on tour. So it was like you had to record everything, edit it, and then have it mixed and mastered. And me and my buddy Rob, who helped me open the studio, were like working together really hard trying to finish this record. And then another producer saw us busting ass to like 4 or 5 a.m. for a bunch of days in a row because we didn't
Okay.
know how to mix that or master that music for CD.
Right. So it
We're
just was
still
so
figuring it
long.
out.
Yeah.
We're
It just
asking
took
the
forever.
teachers, we're getting people to like, what do you
Okay.
think of this? It's like, it sucks. I know, but how do I make it better?
Yeah.
And like ended up mixing a pretty cool EP for this band that then like went on tour. And I want to say the tour went well, but that's when the tsunami happened. So
Oh.
but yeah, we finished the record, and it was like cool. And then that led to other like, hey, come hang out and be an intern on this record as I do this other band that's going to get signed to like 604 network or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of like kept leapfrogging by just being there and putting yourself in those positions. Literally just show up. There's a
Yeah.
trick.
And like
The
work
trick is
hard.
just show. Even if you can, I don't want to say be lazy, but if you just show up and pay attention, you will often get more work than you might be qualified for. Then you have to learn. You have to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try and take something on that you can't. But if you literally just show the fuck up, you will get more opportunities. People who don't show up don't get opportunities.
Yeah.
I've seen that in my own career. I
Yeah.
don't go to the show. I don't work with the band. They work with somebody else. They wanted me to go. I was like not in the energy level or didn't have the spoons or something.
Right.
Should have fucking gone to the show. Even if I was just like there and like smiled with a beer, that would have been like enough
Right.
to show that, yeah, literally sometimes just that stuff.
Yeah.
Show up.
I also think that like you got to find your thing. Like you got like the passion has to be there cuz like if you didn't have a passion to figure all of it out and have that curiosity
Mhm.
to stay up till 4 or 5 a.m to get that all done, like I mean that's really what's gonna that's really what's gonna drive you to it. So
Yeah.
and if you don't have that passion and that drive, then well then you're not on the right path, right? Like you got to find a different way,
Mhm.
or maybe something else is out there for you, you know.
Yeah, that sometimes it with this job it has been so wild. I can't point to one point in time where I was like, I know absolutely I want to do this, or sorry, I can point at a couple of times where I'm like, yes, this has been a major change, but I just kept trying to do it. I
Okay.
just kept trying to, and I had massive setbacks and crazy things and ridiculous dumb people that I worked with that like killed my soul.
Oh
And I
wow.
still and the difference was like there's so many days where I call it like kind of standing on the edge, like
Yeah.
on the edge of just selling everything and quitting, on the edge of like
Yeah.
I'm gonna just do something else, on the edge
Yeah.
of retraining and something's gone. And every time that I think I'm on the edge, I usually have something else that comes around that makes me stoked about it, or I'll wake up the next morning and want to be down at the studio doing stuff, even if it was like a brutal day the day
Yeah.
prior. And it just came from like a lot of pure joy of doing the the job.
Yeah.
And when you have some of those wins, and then you can kind of like the stuff, the bad clients, or like the poor work that you might have done, or the mistakes or stuff like that that grind against you, become like not relevant, and you just want to like, okay, well, I don't want to do that again. Like,
Yeah.
let's make sure that doesn't happen.
For
So
sure. Just let's see them as learning lessons and, you know, keep going. What was it that excited you the most about it? Was it like, was it working with the artists and like being with the people, or were you just like sound is like figuring out sound and how to make sound and like,
I think, I mean, what drew me to it initially, because it was that mother record in particular, was like, how do
right.
they do that? How do
Okay.
they get this? That's not. I grew up on like a lot of classic rock and stuff with my parents, and
Okay.
like that's great, but
Yeah.
it's like sometimes not the most complex stuff. Like
Right.
then I was listening to like these new like indie pop crossover stuff with Mother, and the arrangements were crazy, and the vocal stuff was the vocal performances were nuts, and the guitar was intricate and cool and riffy, but not like, boring and constant. It was just, there's so much going on, and I was like, how the hell did they do that? And that's kind of what drove me to it. Over the years now,
Yeah.
um it's like finding that moment of like, I get like a dopamine hit almost from,
Yeah.
sort of, got from when all the pieces fall into place, and you could hear the song the way it needs to just be. I've
Mm,
had that happen so much. That's like my pinnacle now, where
yeah.
it's like pure emotional translation from the artist, and they're going like, that's the way it needed to sound, or that's the way it was in my head, or it gets an emotional reaction out of somebody like that.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
I'm like almost addicted to now.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Amazing.
sometimes that emotion's like joy and happy stuff. And
Yeah.
then, but I've also gotten the same level of like enjoyment and pleasure when an artist is like, God, this is giving me anxiety. Good.
Yeah.
It's supposed to. We can
Right.
turn it off, but
Right.
I'm glad,
Yeah.
secretly glad.
Um, and do you feel like you have like a philosophy or like a mantra for like your work that you kind of like, do you have any kind of
I really wish I could summarize
like definitely I'm
that.
feeling like you love to be of service and like how can I
Yeah.
be of service to the song and
Yes.
like how do I serve this situation best? And I think when we're in that energy of service, like, you know,
Hmm.
it's very reciprocal, um if we're truly there and open to the other person, hearing their needs, listening to what it is that they really need. And if you can attune to that and figure that out, like it can be a really reciprocal
Yeah.
relationship. And so
Oh
it's
my
just like
gosh.
positive vibes all around, right? Like, so
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's
but
yes.
like I was curious. I don't it just came up when I was looking on your website. I'm like, I wonder if she has like a like just like I don't know, a way of a value, I don't know. I think I've asked the question.
Sort
Yeah.
of, yeah. I mean, you've also answered it in such a wonderful
Okay.
way. I'm like, I hope some of these are lyrics in your own songs.
Okay.
Like, this is fantastic poetry in
Okay.
there.
I mean, that
For
could be the answer. We could
kinda,
accept that as the answer.
um, I do sort of have a match. I wish I could summarize it so easily, or like I guess the ethos is like a service type thing. It is like I'm always here for the artist. Whenever I'm having like my spiel with a new client and I'm talking about like what we might be able to do, or what I can, how I can help and all of that stuff. I always kind of at the end of it go, but you also, you always reserve the right to tell me to fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here to do a job. I'm going to have opinions and I'm going to have stuff I'm going to push for because I care about it and I'm passionate. Um, but I'm always going, like, if you're just like telling me to, hey, this is the way it's going to be, stop. It's like, I'll, you know, default to you because it's still your record. Like, I'm still being
Yeah.
hired to do this
Yes.
job for a person a lot of the time. Like, I
Yeah.
love a collab and stuff and it's different then. But if an artist is saying like, hey, I'm hiring you as a producer, here's the fee, here's the contract and all of the stuff, I'm still making sure the job gets done for them. So if we're not working towards whatever their goal is, that's not right. So
Yes.
the ethos is like artist first. I'm still, I'm also creative and I still got opinions, but it's always defaulting to what they want to do because they're the
Yes.
ones making the songs and like usually paying the bill.
Yeah.
So it's has to be for them. And if
100%.
it's not, like, what the hell am I even doing? Anytime I
Yeah.
lose that, if I'm ever frustrated, it's
Yeah.
like I'll get a reminder from another colleague, and it's like, sounds like you're putting yourself first in the record for a moment, in a moment of frustration or something.
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yep, no, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. And
First,
I
make
think
it
it's a
work.
constant kind of like practice, I guess, to just like get back into that energy of service, I guess.
Yeah, because
And
we
I
care.
love that you do that. Like I love that you're creating this very safe space for art and that you have that energy about you, because I was just interviewing another artist and, she's 21. Uh, she's 21. So like coming into a studio and advocating for herself, like as
Oh
a woman,
goodness.
and like, it's just like, um, I really, it can be very intimidating as well if you don't really know much about the engineering or producing, or it's a whole new sort of situation for her.
Hmm.
And so, I think that that's so important that you have that statement that you say to artists that like, if you need to tell me to fuck off, like I just love that, because I'm sure you have all kinds of clients at different levels of in their music careers, and that does
Mhm.
need to be said, because I think that there's been, I'm sure, lots of situations that we know of where women are not heard in the studio, or like their songs are compromised, or there's like this dominant
Mhm.
masculine energy there. So I just love that you're doing that,
I
because
try.
it's like
I try
so
really hard.
important, I think,
Thank you.
to like create that safe space and to just give people the opportunity to say like nope,
Mhm.
because that can be hard. So um and so let's talk about your personal transition that you've been going through
Ah, yes.
lately.
Yeah.
How
I used to drive a Toyota. I'm now strictly into Nissans. Uh, I'm sorry. This comes as a shock to my deep very public Toyota fan club. No, yeah, I came out this year as trans, and I didn't even really have a moment or a date that I came out. I just started, like, I changed the name on Instagram, tried to change it on Facebook, wouldn't let me. Then and just started telling clients and different people bit by bit, layer by layer. Change stuff on my website, which pictures still need to be updated and that sort of thing. But like, yeah, it was just got to the point where I couldn't keep demanding the authenticity out of my artists that I do, and without following it myself. So I couldn't keep asking them to like bare their soul for me and give me their message or their thing without actively doing it myself anymore.
wow.
So I and that was kind of the breaking point for like artistically, because there's a bit where I'm like, oh, I can like shelve this and I can like just come to work, and it's like,
Yeah, I
nah.
can
I was
tuck it
like,
away
I don't
somewhere.
and I was like,
Yeah.
at one point I was like, fuck the audacity of this bitch, like
Yeah.
to myself, like how dare
You're
I
right.
think that I could hide that when in the name of,
Right.
and that lasted like a week at best or something, right? And
Yeah.
it just came as like little steps where it's like I wanted to be able to act the way I am, which is like not a hell of a lot different than the way I was before. It's
Yeah.
just like dressing the way I want to and being the way that makes me happy and feel the most authentic. And but yeah, it's still just like making records, and the kind of the same way that I did before. In fact,
Yeah.
it's better because now I have like what I feel like is an even more direct like emotional connection with some things, and it's very
Right.
very feels very fluid to go from like the feeling to the sound
Yes.
is sort of the point that's been nice. And yeah, my clients and artists have all been fantastic. I surround myself with those people.
Yeah.
I already did.
Yeah.
And so all of them were like, yeah, sick, no
Yeah.
worries. What are the things? Can we still call you dude? And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, just don't call me man. They're like, yeah, that's reasonable. I'm like,
Okay.
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Right.
And
So that was the
do you think that coming, like transitioning i- in in the music industry, like in the industry that you are, like a creative industry, do you think it kind of made it easier? Because I feel like creative people are usually
I
more like
mm,
open and like,
yeah,
I mean, if you were,
I
as
think
I
I
think
think
just I
so.
compare it to like, a corporate office, like,
Mhm.
like, right? Like,
My personal thing, so way before that I realized that I was trans and I wanted to come out, it
mhm,
was I was trying not to put myself around people that I didn't like align with, kind of like ethically or morally and stuff in general. Like
okay.
I feel like I probably never would have been able to work for that massive like faceless company type thing in an office, because not because of the office job, but because of like the stuff behind what I might be doing not being great. I don't want to be around like entrepreneur people, guys that are like dickheads and schmarmy. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter
Yeah.
gender and stuff. They
Yeah.
still suck.
Yeah.
It's just but this industry does make things easier. I
Yeah.
feel like I could call it like very fortunate that I already aligned myself with something that was like this. And maybe it was me trying to do that for years already. Like, I can't figure out how to
Right.
translate this, but I can do it through this work on the other
Right.
side of the glass for other people. I
Yeah.
don't think for the long time, I'm like, I don't think I can write lyrics and do stuff. I don't think I have that kind of emotional connection. And then, but I can like help other people foster theirs.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh right, that was the barrier. And now things have been like great. I've been like writing a ton myself.
Okay.
Yeah, which has been
Amazing.
fun. So
Yeah, it's just like it sounds like it was just an opening for you,
big
right?
time.
Yeah. Um and so do you feel like there's been a shift in um like the way you feel in the industry now? Like do you feel like there's
It's been pretty early to tell too much because I have been, transitioning for about a year now, but sort of only out for like what I call a handful of months, like maybe since spring kind of thing.
okay, so it's still
So
pretty
pretty
new.
pretty early. I have felt so I've always tried to be a champion of like women in music.
Yes.
I was like, here's the resources, here's the things, pass it off to the people that need it, and then kind of went like, cool, and then like not my space. But now I feel like I can throw myself into like certain groups and stuff that I've wanted to and already like felt that kind of like uh,
Yeah.
attunement to. I just was like, well,
Yes.
okay, it's not my space though. It's like, well, now it kind of is. And once I get over a little bit more of my own imposter syndrome with this stuff,
Yes. Yeah.
new level of imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
um I feel like it'll be even easier because it's just
Yeah.
like there's so many amazing groups, and I already like teach at SAE, and I've sort of seen the result of this like really early on,
Okay.
which was really nice. So it's like I don't know, I'd love to have more effect and help. I'd love to use like my knowledge in the industry and stuff and what I've done so far and just educate in general. And I love the fact now that um I can be more aligned with like the groups of people that I wanted to help the most.
Mhm.
Um, so it's been sorry with like the SAE. I've even had one of my students who's non-binary come up to me when I like first came out, and I was like telling my students and stuff the
Yeah.
classes I had at the time,
Right.
and and they were like, thank you. Actually, no, that was before I came out. They saw me at Trans March at
Oh,
this year. They saw me at Transvigil rather, and they're
okay.
like, Stephanie, what are you doing here? And I'm like, being in the closet,
Right.
supporting my loved ones. What
Okay.
about you? And they're like, yeah. So I like told them really early, and then I came out to a bunch of the classes, and they were like, hey, thanks for doing that, because I didn't really see a ton of people like me in the industry, and I was getting a little nervous going through school, like that I wasn't going to have a place for
Yeah.
myself,
Right.
and or there wasn't one. And I was like, no, fuck that, there's so much room, oh my god. Like
Yes.
and I'm like, you're
Yes.
brave, you're the one, you're the brave one. I'm just figuring this out now at like 34 or 33 at the
Yeah.
time, so it's like, don't give me that much credit, this is scary as shit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You're the
Yeah.
ones, start anyways, just silly comparison stuff.
Do you do, um do you feel like there's like a lack of community for trans and queer, non-binary, two-spirit folks out here? Like, do you feel like there's space, like that there's somewhere for us to go? Like,
There's not. Okay, so like, yes, there's some great groups of musicians and people. There's no like central hub of connectivity from what I understand. I know there's like great groups of people doing cool stuff. One of the ones that I'd really like to, okay, so somebody who I've seen this model from now is a group called Good and Plenty Club out in Winnipeg that I just
yes.
met. Producer named Daggers, Laura Winterholt, Cease, who I know you just interviewed, is also a part of them.
Yes.
Bonifaci, all of these people are just so great. So I got to meet them, and I started when I was at Breakout West, realized how they're sort of running their group for like women and non-binary people, and I was like, holy crap, you've kind of figured out some of the community aspect then they without being like um doesn't seem like too heavy-handed or too preachy. They offer a lot of
Right.
cool support. I got really excited because I'm like, wow, we need something like this out here. There's lots of great groups of that are doing solid work, like Sound Girls, like shout out to them,
Okay.
because they've been great, but they're a little bit more in the live sphere, and I don't think have a particularly large presence in Vancouver. But this could be
Oh,
from my own ignorance.
you know what?
This could
I
be from
just
my own
remembering
ignorance.
Jane Aurora.
I love Jane
producers
so much.
producers lounge.
Oh yeah,
She created
absolutely.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot
exactly.
about that.
So I was just getting around. So there's people that have done this other work
Yeah,
before that now just I'm still new to this. Give me a bit of
yeah,
time. I'm coming in. I'm figuring this out. I
yeah,
don't have all of the answers. I'm still now just finding a whole new group of people that I'm
yes,
excited to be with, and I'm in a very much of a stage of like learning for that stuff
yes,
rather than teaching. I'm
yeah.
here with my skills and I'm happy to put the time and the work in, but there's
Mm-hmm.
people that have laid the bed work down that I just need to learn from right now
Yeah,
because
love
before
that.
I can do anything else, I need to figure out like how can I help the thing before.
Yes,
So like I can't
yes,
walk in and say, yeah, this is here, this isn't here, we need more of that. I'm like, I'm
yeah,
still figuring it out. I might not even
yes.
know where all the groups are.
And I think I'm asking you because I'm also very new to everything. Like I'm very new to
That's
like
fair.
acknowledging my queerness, and I'm also figuring out where I am in my gender journey, and
Mhm.
I'm figuring all those things out. So I'm also like
I
I'm asking you
absolutely
from for a
understand.
friend. Like
We'll chat. We'll do. A while ago I did like the top 17 things you need to do to release a song, and it's like we can do
right.
this top 17 things you need to do to find your community within music in Vancouver. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We'll
um
we'll get there. We'll get there. And
Absolutely. It's a journey.
yeah, we're figuring it out later on in life. Like I'm 38, so,
Yeah,
I'm
welcome.
with you on that
Yeah.
one.
Second best time to plant a tree is now.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I
Yeah,
love that so
that
much.
one kept me going for a while. Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited because when you had mentioned you were talking to the Good and Plenty Producers Club and that you're wanting to like bring that out here,
Hmm.
I really hope that that can happen. And I will 100% like be shouting from the rooftops if that ends up going through here
Yeah,
and that community forms. So I want to be part of it.
absolutely. I
So
really can't
yeah,
wait for that part. Because again, just like I need to have I'm still in that point where I need to chat with all the people that are running it and
yeah,
go like, this is incredible. Tell me more about what you do and like, how can we try and make this available in Vancouver in one way or the other?
yeah,
Like what in
yeah.
whatever capacity, I'm happy as long as it exists.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah,
It just seems like when Cease was talking to me about that, I was just like, we need that. Like, we really need that
big time.
community and that space, especially with everything that's happening around the world, you know? Like,
100%.
and I think that I have been feeling with all of the chaos that's happening in the world right now, that that's kind of how like we're dealing with it. I think we are kind of going more into community with each other because it's like holy shit, like the world is really fucked up. Where's the safe space,
Yeah,
right? Like,
absolutely.
and I think it is kind of pushing us to band together a bit more. So,
Mm.
no matter how evil the world gets, like I think at the end of the day, if we can find each other and be there for each other, like it's gonna be okay, you know?
I think that is a massive, massive part of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we can also still try and fight against all that other evil and crap too.
100%.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Um, I feel like that's just a really good spot to like end the interview on.
yeah. That's sure.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Thank you for asking me so many different questions and the scope of stuff.
Yeah, sorry for the rapid fire a few times there.
No,
My
it's
brain just
okay.
goes off. I'm like, "Oh my god, so
Three.
curious about that thing."
Oh, I tangent so hard when I'm talking about things sometimes, and it's like I've now know that even in this interview, it's like, okay, stay on track, Steph. Like you answer one question, not start
Yes.
answering a question she hasn't asked you yet.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Everyone goes on tangents, so it's you're not the only one. Um, I guess as we're wrapping things up, like, is there anything else you want to add? Like, is there something that you're super excited about right now that you want to mention, or
Yeah. Yeah, actually, the city of Vancouver recently repealed its support for music funding, which includes the Vancouver
yes,
BC Creative BC demo program, amongst a slew of other live performance support, I believe, and a bunch of other things I'm seeing.
okay,
So I'm not exactly sure what we're doing at the moment. I've seen just some stuff from people who are a little bit more connected, trying to band a bunch of us together. Some folks from like 604 Records. And yeah, the city of Vancouver has essentially repealed funding for the arts in a very large way. And their support ends up being a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of their budget for the arts that they've ended up cutting in the guise of like operation kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and we need to push back against it. We need to find the people that are organizing properly and figure out who we're writing letters to and who and petitioning for ourselves. Because speaking as someone who has written, at least for this particular grant, a number of them for artists working with myself and other people, it is really important to get the ball rolling creatively with artists in the studio releasing music, and can be a massive stepping stone to be able to do other grants, performances. It's Asaya working, her and I working together on the Black Woman track started with a Vancouver, BC demo grant. And that allowed us to just like keep going into the massive amount of work she's been able to keep going because of her work ethic and because we got this opportunity, so which we
Right.
didn't have before.
Yeah.
So this is,
Okay.
yeah, like big
Yes.
thing I'm passionate about. There's music and records I'm working on. That's great. Follow me on Instagram at bpockets.
There
But
you go.
main thing is we need
Yes.
to pressure the city of Vancouver to continue their support and funding for the arts.
Okay.
Because
Love it.
everything gets harder for all of us in the music sector if that's gone. So
Thank you for mentioning that. And yes, I will definitely be looking out for that and posting links below if I can find some info
let's get you
on
an
it.
interview with them and say the fuck. One
Yeah.
question on your prompt sheet: the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for mentioning that. So important. Um, yeah. And I think, like, I don't know if you saw that Ireland was starting to pay their artists like a living wage.
Oh
Did you see
yeah,
that?
full
And
support for
and
UBI.
because they realized how much artists how much money artists bring to the economy. Like,
Mm,
we bring
huge.
them a lot of money when we do shows, and
Hmm.
people come out, and like, it's music is such a big part of our daily lives, and so it's
Massive
like,
part.
I think maybe sometimes governments like cut it because they just don't see like the like, oh well, like the benefit of it
Yeah,
very
what's
clearly,
the
right?
impact? What's our financial
Yeah.
impact? It's like, well, it gets pretty large depending on how we want to look at the musical pie here, but
Yeah.
like, where do you want to start? Because we've got support for where this like continues to grow and create jobs. And we know
Yeah.
this because in our grants we have to show and tell, okay, how many jobs were created, how many hours of Vancouver based workers were there anybody hired outside of it. We have to support all of this stuff with documents. It's not like, here's $2,000, fuck off. It's like, here's 2K, now jump through a ton of hoops to justify it artistically, business wise, and everything else.
Right.
Not artistically so much, but like business
Yeah.
wise and stuff. And I fully support it, because you've got to have some kind, not barriers to entry, but you have to have like levels of proof for some of this, because it's they're investing in artists.
Yes.
It's an
Yeah.
investment in art and culture.
Yeah.
And when you stop seeing it as that and start seeing it as just a cost, that's where things get really fucked up.
Yeah.
It is an investment.
Yes.
And that often gets forgotten.
Yeah.
So
And I think the headline, I didn't look into this a ton. I just saw the headline that like they did a research study, and they realized that like they got uh the music industry contributed $100 million to their economy, and like
oh
after they
yeah.
had like invested in it. So they're like, okay, there's like a benefit to this. And so, like, that's the way I like interpreted it without reading the full article. But I was just like, okay, yeah, they saw that it was valuable, but I can see how people who are high up there might not be that might not see the benefit of that. So yeah, I feel like we're always kind of, as creatives,
Yeah.
like having to fight for fight for that.
Mm-hmm.
So
We'll do our best to try and like pass the info along where we've got it. It's
yes.
the most we can do right now, at least.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of the things we can do right now.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 1, camera 4. It's been great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.